Hi, everybody. It's Maya Zahira with Psychic Protection Sanctuary. How are you all doing? Are you hanging in there? This is our monthly Facebook Live in our Psychic Protection Sanctuary Facebook group. So if you're watching the replay somewhere else, like maybe on my YouTube channel, just a shout out to you and just letting you know that if you want to join us live every month, then head on over to Facebook and type in the search bar Psychic Protection Sanctuary with Maya Zahira, and you can join us live. So we do have people joining us live. Hello. One of the natures of Facebook Live is that it does tend to be more interactive, which I love. But I know some of you who watch the replays on YouTube are like eager to get into the content. So just be patient and we will get to it. We're going to just say hi to everybody first. So as usual, go ahead and let us know where you are joining from, and I will do shout outs. It's so good to see all of you, really, truly. So today's topic is all about psychic protection during a global pandemic. So I want to just point out, though, that if you're watching this replay later and it's not during a global pandemic, these tips are good for any time you are going through an overwhelming experience, anything tough. These are your go-to tips, okay? If you are somebody who likes to take notes, then you might want to grab a pen and paper. And because I do have a list of 5 things that I'm going to suggest, okay, to manage through this crazy time. So remember, when you're joining, go ahead and let us know where you're joining from. Even though I know you, you all might not know each other. So it is warm weather here in Arizona. I moved to Tucson a few months ago to get away from the winter. And it is warm today. I don't know exactly. I think it's 85. And I have my windows open. And it's already allergy season. So I just took some medicine a little while ago because I had a sinus headache. But I think I'll be able to focus pretty well because I did some self-care before we started. So hi to everybody. While we're waiting to get into the core content, and while we're waiting for everybody to say hi and where you're joining from, do you have any questions, or like, what do you need? What do you want me to talk about or answer on today's Facebook Live? Now, I'm going to give a caveat, and sorry if this sounds tricky, but I've made a conscious decision that I'm really only going pretty light into the topic of the pandemic in today's free video, and you will get some good tips, okay? As you know, if you've watched any of my other videos, I give a lot of good tips. So I'm going to give you some important tips. But if you're wanting to know like what's really going on under the surface, like what's really happening, where did this virus come from, who's behind it, all of that crazy stuff, then that's in my private group, in one of my private groups. It's in the $12.99 a month Psychic Protection Insiders group. And the reason why I'm doing it that way is because what I'm going to talk about is super controversial. And that's what that group is for. That monthly group where you pay a small amount is literally it's a forum where I can talk about the stuff that's too fringe or controversial to talk about on my free page. So you can find that on my website, psychicprotectionsanctuary.com. And then under the events tab, you'll find the $12.99 a month Psychic Protection Insiders. And the only way you can access all of that is to join that and it's super cheap. But with that said, I am willing to answer some questions that if you have any burning questions about what's going on with the virus, I can't give medical advice. I can't give medical forecasts or anything like that. But I might be able to answer some of your questions. So don't be shy. Okay. So you all are being shy today and you're not really talking. And sometimes Facebook just doesn't show me the newest comments, and that's okay. So I'm just going to jump in with my other information. So today's topic is psychic protection during a global pandemic. I already told you about the website. So the goal for these tips that I'm going to give you, the ultimate goal is to show you some ways that you can keep your energy clean and clear. Because whether you're staying at home or you're having trouble when you go out to the grocery store, it's really hard dealing with all of the collective energies right now, right? So I jotted down in my notes here that there's a handful of, there's a bunch of, there's a bunch of information out there, but there's, I'm going to put truths in air quotes. There's different truths that are bouncing around out there. And I'm going to talk first, even though this is a little off topic, this is going to lead us in. I'm going to talk first about the first truth that I see bouncing around. And because I have a lot of spiritual colleagues, there's a lot of spiritual seekers on my Facebook, on my social media. I see a lot of this. The first truth that's going around is that the COVID-19 virus is not real. That it is, sorry, I have cat hair on my face, that it's not real, that the only virus is fear, and that you can just keep doing everything that you're doing, go out, do stuff, and just you need to eradicate your fear. Now, if you believe that, that is your prerogative. I'm not here to tell anyone what to believe or not believe. But I'm going to say from my viewpoint that is not correct, and that is actually a spiritual bypassing point of view. Spiritual bypassing, you may have heard me talk about that before, that term. And it means using any spiritual teachings, philosophies, or spiritual practices to avoid actual truths and to avoid feeling anything uncomfortable. So this belief that it's not real, it's just only fear, there's actually no real virus, that is a convenient way to not have to feel your feelings and to basically deny that any of it exists. So that's spiritual bypassing, and it is not a healthy perspective. Another end of the spectrum of truth, in air quotes, truth, is this extreme fear perspective that's like apocalyptic, like the world is ending, everyone's gonna die, and like using whatever, usually it ties back into some kind of spiritual teaching. Again, it's like, maybe people focusing on things from the Bible or other religious teachings or other spiritual writings and saying, this is a sign that we are at the end. I've seen posts with people saying, well, this is the end. And I think that is also that's on the extreme end of the spectrum. I don't really believe that it is that extreme. Based on, and by the way, I've spent many hours, I've gone out to the mountains, out here, the Catalina mountain range is my favorite place to go. It's where I get really clear answers. I've spent many hours tuning in and seeing what's going on, at what's really going on. And I don't believe that it's the end. I don't believe that we need to go into that extreme fear. Based on what I'm seeing clairvoyantly through psychic sight, clairaudiently, psychic hearing, clairsentiently, which is psychic feeling, claircognizantly, psychic knowing. All of these messages that I've received, that it's my belief that this is actually real. It is a real thing. It's not just fear projections or whatever. That it actually, I mean, it may have originally been just vibrational and just fear and greed or whatever else. But the truth is that it has actually manifested at this point. It has manifested into 3D reality despite the source. And the Psychic Protection Insiders group is where I'm going to talk about the source of where all of this came from. But I will say to you guys here that it has manifested into 3D reality. And what that means is do listen to recommendations about hygiene and personal safety and, social distancing is what they're calling it as well. Which is kind of a misnomer because it's more of physical distancing because we are socializing right now. So go ahead and follow that advice. Well, it's not for me to tell you what to do or not do, but I'm just going to suggest that it's a good idea to follow the advice because it is real. So if you're thinking that it's not real, then I would just suggest that you reconsider. I mean, it's hard for me to word this because I'm such a big believer in personal freedom, and it is up to you to believe whatever you believe. And my job is to tell you what I think based on my expertise. So I know that's why you're here, is to get a second opinion. Your first opinion is your own inner knowing. Okay. And speaking of that, I'm going to go on another tangent here. There's so much information out there, like literally, even if I'm not trying to get on the internet and I'm trying to go to the grocery store across town, because I am following the orders to stay at home except for grocery store, I click on Google Maps and the first thing that I see is a picture of the virus. It's like, can we say like brainwashing? Like the picture of the virus is freaking everywhere. So you open up anything, your Facebook, your Yahoo email or whatever, and there's a picture of the virus. So yes, it is in 3D reality, but it's also being programmed. You know what I mean? Like the pictures are everywhere. But I'm kind of sorry. I'm kind of all over the place. My point was going to be to listen to your inner knowing. And then I got off on a tangent about brainwashing because that is happening, you guys. Notice that, okay? That the pictures of the virus, the coronavirus, the COVID-19, like they're everywhere. That's on purpose, okay? It's to drive in that fear even more. But the virus is actually, it is real. It's in 3D reality, okay? So it's kind of a mind trip. But my original point was going to be to listen to your own inner knowing, because wherever you go online, there's all this information. And I'm just going to say there's a lot, in my opinion, with the skill sets that I have, a lot of information being put out there that's looking like it's legitimate is actually not legitimate. Okay, so even a lot of things that are being talked about on the news, like major news networks, is partial correct information with a lot of distortions thrown in. So I don't expect you to believe me on that. My point again is I want to really, really encourage you to, during this time more than ever, to tune in, connect with your own inner knowing. And I put it this way, rather than like connecting with your guides or your angels or whatever, instead go within, find what is the deepest truth. When you're hearing something on the news or where you're seeing a video on social media, you can ask yourself, is this actually true? Or feel into it. Does something feel off about it? So I'm not going to tell you that I have all of the answers, but I can really be certain that there's a lot of information out there that's not on target. So do listen to your inner guidance, and I am available to give more details about the deeper aspects of what I think is going on in my paid group if you want to go deeper with that. So yes, it has manifested into 3D. So you do need to so don't try to go traveling on a vacation right now. It's not a good idea. Also, you might get stuck wherever you're going because they're shutting a lot of places down, right? Before I go any further, I want to give my medical disclaimer because I forgot to give that at the beginning. You already know this, but I always feel better saying it. I am not a medical doctor. I am not a medical professional in any regard. I am not a scientist. I don't have any kind of scientific degree. That's not my specialty at all. So this is not medical advice. This is not personal advice. My specialty is in energy and spiritual matters. And so I'm able to bring information and truths, what I believe are truths, in through those psychic channels, personal psychic channels that I have. So just so you know, I'm not giving you medical advice. And I want to emphasize even more, I want you to listen to your own inner guidance. Don't take anything that I say and just believe it. Don't take anything that anybody says and just believe it. That's part of the problem that's happening. Actually, now here's another tangent coming. That everybody, well, not everybody, a lot of people are just taking whatever's being told to them and not questioning it, and that's just part of the problem. That's not the origin of the problem, but that's creating more problems. So do listen to your inner guidance, and also I want to emphasize inner guidance, because there's not only a lot of false information coming through news channels and social media, but there's a lot of, oh my gosh, there's tremendous amounts of false and or distorted information coming through channeled spiritual sources right now. So if you are a channeler, I totally respect the work that you do, and I would, with gentleness and kindness, suggest that whatever you're channeling, then also take that, put that over here, and drop into your inner guidance. Really drop into your true inner truth, your essence, and compare what you're getting there to whatever you're getting from any outside sources whatsoever. Because I've been seeing so much channeled spiritual material, written blog posts, videos, all of that, one of my specialties is being able to see through false information. That's what I do, right? So I click on these and I look at them and I'm like, oh my God, it's like almost, it's like 90% false information. It's like, it's just a bunch of gobbledygook. So go within, you guys, everybody go within, go within. And I have to look at my notes here. Okay, so let's talk. We're almost to our 5 tips that we're going to talk about to handle managing a global pandemic, psychic protection during a global pandemic. But before we do that, let's talk about some of the real issues, the real concerns that we're having during this time. This is a major time of anxiety for a lot of people, depression. Finances are a concern for a lot of people because some people are laid off or have had reduced hours. A lot of small businesses and employees both are under major stress. There are also healthcare workers, grocery store workers, all of the different people. I know I'm not even going to try to list all of them because I'll leave some out. All of the different people who are in, who are doing work that's important, who are still working, all of the people who are necessary for our cultures to still keep functioning. They are under major stress because there's more pressure, there's more fears, there's fears about getting sick, there's just a lot of stress. And then all of the people who are staying home, there's the issue of cabin fever, or not knowing what to do with yourself. Or if you're alone, you're living alone, there's loneliness. There's people who are who are not living alone, but are in situations that are not beneficial for them or are stressful, right? So there's all these different layers and levels of challenges. And then no matter who you are, you have to get your provisions, your food and whatever else, your toilet paper, right? And so the stress of having to get those things. So overall, this is a really stressful time for everybody. I know there are times, I know I've talked to some people, and myself included, who have had days, extended periods where we feel very at peace and we know that everything's okay. And I just want to say that's okay if you have periods where you feel like everything is okay and you're not panicking. You don't have to feel bad about that. When you're having those moments or those days or those weeks when you're feeling really good, you're helping add to the calmness of the collective. So that's a really good thing. But also it's totally normal to feel challenged by these energies. If you are someone who is spiritually sensitive, then it may be even more challenging. Spiritually sensitive, like if you're an empath, if you're an HSP, which is short for highly sensitive person, if you're really, really spiritually tuned in. I would say, I'll just throw in one thing. The couple of people that I've run into who've said that they are completely at peace during this entire process, I would just throw in a little gentle, tough love argument that if 100% of the time they're saying that they're feeling completely calm and at peace, I would suggest that there could be some spiritual bypassing happening where they're not allowing themselves to feel their feelings. Because I think it's normal to have ups and downs. Now, I know you're still waiting for my 5 tips. I want to tell you that there are some other videos that I've done recently. And one of them was how to unplug from the collective fear on the planet. And so you can go to my YouTube channel, psychicprotectionsanctuary.com, and you'll find that, how to unplug from the collective energy of fear. There's also another video that I did recently about connecting with the vibration of love and helpfulness on the planet. And there are some other helpful videos that I've done recently. So now let's get to our 5 tips. I consider these psychic protection tips, but these are really general self-care. So these are going to help you keep your energy clean and clear. No matter if you are an empath or not, just existing in this soup is going to be challenging at times, because let's be real, no matter how you're feeling, there's tons and tons of people who are going through waves of emotions, panic or fear or loss or grieving, and any other number of emotions. So the collective consciousness right now is like on hyperdrive emotionally, okay? And so even if you don't consider yourself an empath, it would be impossible to not be picking up on some of that stuff. Plus you have your own emotions, your own stuff that's coming up, your own triggers, your own fears. So some of these things that I'm going to suggest are going to seem really simple, but if you are not doing them, you're going to find that you're struggling a whole lot more. Okay? So the first thing on the list is to eat healthy. Again, it's a real basic tip, right? But let's just say that you're doing a lot of emotional eating. And hey, no judgment here. It's you're doing whatever you need to do in the moment, right? But let's just say that you're doing a lot of emotional eating and it's like sugar and ice cream and a lot of carbs. And when you're doing a lot of sugar, that is going to mess with the microbiome of your digestive system. It's going to mess with your blood sugar. When you mess with your microbiome, that has an effect on your emotions and your ability to think clearly. Plus, if you're throwing your blood sugar levels like all up and down, you've probably noticed that when your blood sugar is going topsy-turvy, that your emotions are too. I know for myself, I really pay close attention to what I eat and how I feel when I eat it. And I hardly ever eat sugar, but because I just can't. I really can't. It's not willpower. I just can't handle it. And I notice that when I do have some sugar, I don't mean like an apple, I mean like a dessert. Then the next day, I notice that I feel depressed. And it's my belief that everybody's body responds that way. But if you're having sugar every day, you can't really tell the difference. But because I have it so seldom, that's why it's so obvious. It's like shouting at me. So I just want to gently suggest just being aware of that. And it's a stressful time. So it's really not an optimal time to like, quote, go on a diet either. You need to be gentle with yourself and eat when you need to eat. Stay grounded, right? But just be aware that the foods that you're eating can definitely, in my opinion, have an effect on not only your physical well-being and your energy level, but also your emotional state. And of course, we know that the healthier that you're eating, then your whole system is going to respond by being healthier and stronger. So if you want to reduce, if you want to enhance your immune system and feel like you're doing what you can to reduce your chances of getting sick with anything, then I would suggest eating healthy, right? Remember, this is not medical advice. Okay. So that's number one, eating healthy. And it also, eating healthy affects your spiritual vibration. And if you are someone who wants to be helping the collective on the planet right now, then raising your vibration is a good thing. My kitty is meowing right now. Number 2 on the list is salt baths. You can use any kind of salt. If you want to use a fancy kind of salt, you can, but it's not required. Salt baths are a really easy way to cleanse your auric field. Even if you're not in the middle of a global pandemic, just going to the store in normal circumstances can be hard on someone who's spiritual, or going to a job that's not your favorite job, or just living in the world under normal circumstances can really create a lot of psychic debris in your auric field. So taking a salt bath is like such a simple but effective way to clear your aura. And by the way, if you have any like entity issues going on, if there's anything like that, then if it's something that has newly tried to attach, if it's new in your field, let's say you went out somewhere and something followed you home and it's kind of a tag along, it's right there with you, but it hasn't hooked in fully. Taking a salt bath is such a simple and easy way to pop that off and get you all clean and clear so that you don't actually have to schedule a session with somebody like me because you're taking care of it. So it's such a simple tool, and it helps with everything from the collective emotions to clearing out your own emotions that aren't serving you anymore, that you're releasing a bunch of gunk into your energy field. We need to release that out. And it helps with all sorts of things. So you can take just a salt bath, but if you want to, you can have fun with it and add essential oils like lavender. Lavender is very calming and soothing. Orange is very uplifting. Frankincense is really great for spiritual protection and opening up your crown chakra, opening up your spiritual channels. Rose essential oil is wonderful for raising your vibration and uplifting, opening your heart, uplifting your energy. Eucalyptus, of course, is really good for opening the airways. Now, keep in mind that some essential oils do not agree with some people, so you'll want to tune into your inner guidance and you'll want to do some research on that. Okay, but salt bath. Okay. Number 3 on this list. Let me get a quick drink here. Number 3. Okay. More tough love for y'all. Daily meditation or prayer, or even just sitting in silence. I believe that's important all the time, even when you're not going through a pandemic. But right now, it's really, really important. So anytime you're going through a really challenging time, it's very important for you to do some kind of meditation, prayer. And the goal here is to discharge, it's to be able to discharge the energy buildup. So the energies that you're picking up from the collective, your own stuff that's coming up, you need a way to be able to just sit and release that stuff. And when I say sit, it reminds me that you don't have to do a meditation in stillness. You can do ecstatic dance, which is free form movement to discharge some of that energy if that's your prayer, if it's a movement kind of prayer. But your goal needs to be to discharge the excess energy that's no longer serving you. Number 4 suggestion is also really simple, and I did a video on this a couple weeks ago, and it is to burn cleansing herbs like sage. Here's my bag of sage that I got from the psychic fair. Sage, bay leaves, rosemary. Oh, I forgot to grab my rosemary. There are a lot of different dried herbs that are antiviral or antibacterial or cleansing. Now, again, this is not medical advice. I'm not saying that any of these herbs will clear the COVID-19 virus. I'm not saying that. But I will say that I am burning herbs on a daily basis, and it feels like it's a gentle way of clearing the energy and just keeping the energy in my home clean and clear. So we'll just burn some right now. I've got some sage and some bay leaves. You can go back and watch that other video. I cover some other herbs as well. It's on my YouTube channel, Psychic Protection Sanctuary. We've got some cleansing herbs. So the more you can keep the energy clean and clear. The salt bath helps to clear, oh, this is really going to be smoky. The salt bath helps to clear your energy, and the burning the herbs helps as well. But the burning cleansing herbs will also clear your home and your space. So you have a really peaceful, sacred space, which is really necessary right now. Tip number 5 is sound healing. Sound healing music. I love using sound healing music to uplift the energy. So again, I think it's normal to have moments or hours or days where you're like, you suddenly get bombarded by the collective energies, or your own fears start to come up, or worries or irritations or what have you. One of the greatest ways that you can shift your energy and uplift your vibration and your mood is to listen to sound healing music. And rather than giving you a whole bunch of different recommendations, I'm just going to say that you can go to youtube.com and type in sound healing music into the search bar, and then you'll find all sorts of options. There's a lot of musical artists out there that have created music that is based on the solfeggio frequencies, and there's that kind of healing music, and there's all sorts of healing music. And in addition to that, sometimes I just find music that's really uplifting to me, even if it's not special frequencies, but it's beautiful music and it really uplifts me. But I highly recommend that you go to YouTube, find some some sound healing music, and listen to it. And you can just have it playing in the background. What I've noticed recently is there's a lot of new videos, new sound healing videos coming out right now that that say that they are for clearing viruses, clearing illness, that sort of thing. Now, we don't have any medical proof that that is actually the case. Hi, kitty. You're making a lot of noise. We don't have any medical proof that that is actually the case. So remember, there's not medical advice here. But I'll say I really have enjoyed putting some of those on loop and just letting them play and play. Helps me feel better, to feel like on a vibrational level, I'm clearing out the vibration that's aligned with illness or aligned with virus. So clearing that out, I think, is a beneficial thing. So if that resonates for you, then go to youtube.com and find some sound healing music. There's a whole bunch of different options, so just find what works for you. There's also sound healing music for psychic protection. So if you're having issues with that, then you can listen to that as well. So I think we are done. We didn't really have any discussions, unless Facebook is just not letting me see. So if you have been posting questions and I have not been answering them, I am truly sorry because I am not seeing them. But we have a lot of people here live. So I just want to say thank you for being here. I am very grateful for all of you, and I'm sending you lots of love. Let me just take a look here. We've gone about 40 minutes so far. That's good. We're pretty much done. We're just wrapping things up. So just a reminder, if you want to go deeper into the more fringe content of what's going on behind this, underneath, behind, whatever, this pandemic, then that would be in my $12.99 a month Psychic Protection Insiders group that you can find on my website, psychicprotectionsanctuary.com, under the events tab. But do keep in mind that it's not a group that you can pop in and out of. It's a 3-month commitment. So either you're interested in fringe spiritual content or not. And the reason why I keep it separate is because I know not everybody is interested in going deep into fringe content, and some of which can be a little bit disturbing. And so I know that not everybody wants that. And because I respect and care about all of you, that's why I keep it all separate. So I am here for all of you. I've been actually in a really good energy for the most part through all of this. So just letting you know that if you need anything, you know where to reach me. You can go to my website, psychicprotectionsanctuary.com, and there's a contact form on there. And also on a daily and weekly basis, I've been tuning in to ask what's needed for me to be of service. Like what do I need to do? Do I need to create a video or an audio or put a service out there? And so I actually have a couple of things coming up. There's a group. There's an aura cleanse. There's a long distance energy clearing session that's this Sunday, which is, what is that? The 12th, April 12th, 2020. So that's coming up, and that is donation based. So you can pay nothing. You can pay between $0 to $20, and I'll be sure to post this on my social media so you can see it. And what else? And I'm planning on doing something in May. So stay tuned. I'll create some videos about that as well. Another way I got a download this morning of another way that that I'm supposed to, not that I want to, that I'm supposed to support you guys. So on an individual basis, you know where to find me if you need anything at all. So funny. We don't have any comments. I bet what happened another time was that there were actually people making comments, and I didn't even see any of them until after the video was done. And then I felt really bad because there were these amazing questions that people were asking. So sorry if that is happening. I am seeing so many of you are here, but no conversations. And I have a feeling that's what's happening. So I will follow up later if there's any questions that didn't get addressed. As always, I'm sending you all my love. And we are still sticking with our monthly schedule of Facebook Live once a month in here. So this is our monthly for April. I will see you again in May. If I feel guided to, we might do an extra one. We will see. Until next time, blessings.